Hi everyone, welcome to S&S Bioinfo. Today we are going to learn about pleiotropy. Pleiotropy means multiple gene effect. Multiple gene effect. It means that a gene controls more than one unrelated phenotypes or traits. It controls more than one unrelated phenotype or trait. That is the meaning of multiple gene effect. Generally, a gene controls in diploid organism. A gene controls a particular trait with the help of one pair of alleles that we have already learned in previous session according to Mendelian pattern of inheritance. Here, a particular gene controls more than one trait. That is the actual meaning of pleiotropy or multiple gene effect. Next, I just show you the diagrammatic representation of pleiotropy. Just look at the board. Then suppose this is a chromosome, a particular gene. I label here it as a particular gene. This particular gene controls normally one character. So instead of one, trait A, trait B, trait C. See, this is gene, chromosome. See here, this is a chromosome with a particular gene A. This gene controls more than one unrelated traits or phenotypes. This is the diagrammatic representation. Is it clear now? The meaning of multiple gene effects. A gene controls more than one trait. Now let's study about pleiotropy with the help of some examples in detail. First of all, the synthesis of starch in pea seeds is controlled by a particular gene. Let us assume a particular letter S for that particular gene. Synthesis of starch. Synthesis of starch in pea seeds. Pea seeds, let it be S. This particular gene has two alleles. That you know that each trait is controlled by a pair of alleles according to Mendelian concept. So let them be capital B and small b. Capital B represent the dominant allele and the small b represent the recessive allele. So these two are the two alleles for that particular gene. So in pea seeds, these alleles can be occurred in three different conditions. What are they? Homozygous dominant. What are they? Homozygous dominant. This is homozygous dominant. Then heterozygous dominant. Heterozygous dominant. And homozygous recessive. Homozygous recessive. These are the three conditions of these alleles. Any one of these conditions can be occurred in the pea seeds or pea plants to control the synthesis of starch in that seed. So here, in case of the first one, homozygous dominant allele, if these alleles are present in the pea plant, the result will be round shaped seed, large sized. Round seed, the seed will be in round shape and the seed will be large sized. The second case, the seed will be same, that round shape, round seed, then size will be intermediate. the case of third one, homozygous recessive, the shape will be wrinkled. Wrinkled seed and the size will be small. Here the capital B, the dominant allele controls the dominant character, recessive allele B controls the recessive character. Here the round shape is dominant over the wrinkled shape that we have already studied in Mendelian inheritance of in pea seeds in dihydrotrosis. Okay, then that large size is dominant over the small size. Here, what did you observe here then? That here the shape of the seed and the size of the seed both are controlled by a particular gene. That means a gene control more than one effect. That means here the shape and the size. The shape and the size are controlled by a single gene. That is the meaning of pleiotropy or multiple gene effect. Pleiotropy can be seen in all categories of living organisms, including human beings. For example, Phenylketonuria, or PKU, Phenylketonuria or PKU, sickle cell anemia, albinism, certain kind of autism. These are some examples of pleiotropic effect that can be seen among human individuals. Then now let's discuss about phenylketonuria or PKU. Phenylketonuria or PKU. It's an inborn metabolic disorder caused due to the presence of a recessive allele in the chromosome number 12. Suppose this is the chromosome of humans. Chromosome number 12, paired chromosome. So this 12th pair of chromosome is the autosome. They are not sex chromosome. The last pair is the sex chromosome in human beings. This is a 12th pair of chromosomes. These are homologous pairs. So father's and mother's chromosome. Suppose if these two chromosomes have two recessive alleles. It is a pair of recessive alleles. It leads to the condition called phenylketonuria. So this phenylketonuria is an example of pleiotropy or multiple gene effect. So I told you that it is an inborn metabolic error. So it is usually occurred among children as it is an inborn error. It is caused due to the lack of one particular enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase, which is essential for the conversion of an amino acid phenylalanine to tyrosine. That is one of the metabolic conversion take place in the metabolic pathway in human beings. Just I write down the metabolic conversion. Phenylalanine must be converted into tyrosine. In the presence of which enzyme? Phenylalanine hydroxylase. Phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. This is a normal metabolic conversion. So, in these persons, the enzyme will be lacking in their body. What would happen due to the deficiency of this phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme? This It leads to the accumulation of phenylalanine and its derivatives in the body of that person. Phenylalanine will be converted into phenyl pyruvate and phenyl acetate. So these are the new compounds, derivatives of phenylalanine. This will be accumulated in the cerebrospinal fluid of the person. So the accumulation leads to a condition called mental retardation in that individual. So that is one effect of this recessive alleles, the defective alleles. So that is one effect, just I mentioned here, the multiple effect. First one, mental retardation. Okay, mental retardation is due to the accumulation of phenylalanine and its derivatives. So here tyrosine. Tyrosine must be the end product of this normal conversion. So if there is no proper amount of tyrosine in particular person's body, it affects the production of melanin pigment. Melanin pigment is required for the coloring of hair and skin. So due to the absence of tyrosine, that what would happen? That melanin production will be lowered. That leads to the hypopigmentation of the skin and hair. That's the second effect. Hypopigmentation. Where? In the skin and hair. Okay, that's a second effect. Then hypopigmentation, less production of melanin leads to less coloration. That in the hair and skin. Third effect. As it is phenylketonuria, this phenyl ketone, its derivatives may be excreted through the urine or the sweat. So the person's body may emit mousy odor. The third effect, mousy odor. Mousy odor from the sweat and also from the urine. So these are some multiple effects of these recessive alleles. Mental retardation, hypopigmentation of the skin or hair, then mousy odor. So this tyrosine also required for the production of certain hormones in our body. You have heard about the endocrine glands like pituitary, thyroid glands. Those glands produce different types of hormones. So for the production of this tyrosine is required for the production of such hormones, and also for the production of the neurotransmitters like dopamine and epinephrine. So due to the absence of this tyrosine, it creates a lot of problem in the body. So it leads to a metabolic error in the body. So I have told you just before that it is an inborn metabolic error. It's a genetic disorder because it causes due to the mutation of the recessive allele, the presence of one pair of recessive alleles in the chromosome number 12. That is why it is called genetic disorder. It's an inborn metabolic error. I hope you understood the portion well. Pleiotropy, the multiple gene effect. A gene controls more than one effects. With this, I conclude my session. Thank you and have nice moments.